Welcome to today's 3-minute halacha. The next melacha is the melacha of misartet, which means to score. Rashi explains that this melacha was part of the process of preparing the leather, that after it was smoothed, after memachek, the very next thing they would do is they would score the leather to be able to determine where the leather would be properly cut. The idea of scoring is to make a mark, a straight line within the leather itself. And if you've ever looked at a Sefer Torah or at a mezuzah, you'll notice that the lines are so straight because there's an indentation. The parchment has been scored, which allows the sofer to be able to write in a straight line. Misartet, according to Rashi, is scoring for the purpose of cutting. However, the Rambam disagrees, and he says that just like the example of a Sefer Torah, the idea behind Misartet is they would score in order to be able to write, for example, which board was supposed to be placed next to which other board. They would score the wood so that ultimately the letters would be straight, that they would write upon the wood. The distinction between these two are complex, but ultimately both of them are processes which lead to something else. That the scoring is not an end unto itself, but rather to prepare you for one more thing to happen. As a result, Rav Zilberstein in his Chashuke Chemed on Shabbat Ayin Hey Amun Bet notes that if someone were just to create a fold in paper, but that fold has no specific purpose other than to mark the place, it should be totally permitted. This is something that many people do when they're reading a book on Shabbat and want to remember a specific page, and they'll fold over the corner of the paper. Even though the result is a straight line and resembles scoring, that folding over is an end unto itself. Interestingly, this also plays a role in preparing the table for Shabbat, because when you fold napkins, it's permitted. But if you're folding them specifically into a shape, then Misartet may not be the case because the folding is the end unto itself. But according to Reb Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, as noted in the Shmirat Shabbat Kilchatam, the 11th chapter, the 40th paragraph, it would be prohibited because ultimately you're violating the prohibition of bona, of building something, whether that shape is a boat, a flower, or a hat. That is all folding for a different purpose to create a shape, which is a different prohibition. So when you fold napkins on Shabbat, just to fold them in half is no problem, but to make ornate shapes would be prohibited.